The Grand Council chamber stretched as far as the eye could see. Representatives from 847 different alien species filled the massive hall. Some floated in special atmosphere pods. Others sat on platforms designed for their unique bodies. The air buzzed with hundreds of different voices speaking in countless languages. At the center of the chamber, a holographic display showed the voting results. The number climbed higher and higher. Each alien species pressed their voting crystal, adding their choice to the total. The Crithians voted yes. The insect-like Chitauri voted yes. The massive Varoxians voted yes. Every single species chose the same option. The vote was unanimous. All 847 species agreed. Earth would be enslaved. Ambassador Sarah Chen stood alone at the speaker's platform. She was a small human woman in a simple blue suit. Around her, aliens of every shape and size celebrated. Some made strange sounds of joy. Others waved tentacles or wings. They all believed they had won something great. The Crithian ambassador stepped forward. His scales shimmered under the chamber lights. "The vote is final," he announced. "Earth and all its resources now belong to the Galactic Council. Humanity will serve the greater good of the galaxy." Sarah did not cry. She did not shout. She simply stood there with a calm expression on her face. Many aliens found this strange. They expected her to beg for mercy. They thought she would argue or show fear. Instead, Sarah just nodded slowly. "I understand," she said quietly into her communication device. "Earth acknowledges the Council's decision." The Varaxian war commander laughed. His voice boomed through the chamber like thunder. "Look at the weak human. She accepts defeat so easily." Other aliens joined in the laughter. They saw humanity as nothing special. Just another primitive species that had barely learned to travel between stars. Sarah raised her hand. "I request one thing. Give us 24 hours. Let me inform my government before your forces arrive at Earth." The council members looked at each other. The Crithian ambassador smiled. "Very well. We grant you one day. Use it to prepare your people for their new lives as servants of the council." More laughter filled the chamber. Sarah bowed respectfully and turned to leave. As she walked toward the exit, she passed groups of celebrating aliens. The Chitauri were already calculating profits. "Human labor will be cheap," one said. "We can use them in the mining colonies. Their planet has rare minerals," another species discussed. "We will take everything valuable," the Varaxian commander called out to her. "Tell your people not to resist human. My fleet will arrive in 2 days. If you fight, we will crush you." Sarah stopped walking. She turned slightly and looked at the commander. For just a moment, a small smile appeared on her face. It was so brief that most aliens missed it. "I will deliver your message, Commander," she said. Then she continued walking. Nobody noticed that smile. Nobody thought it was important. They were too busy celebrating their victory over the weak humans. Sarah's shuttle left the council station. Inside the small ship, she sat alone in the pilot's seat. She pressed a button on her wrist communicator. A holographic screen appeared in front of her. The face of an Earth military officer appeared.
"Admiral Chen reporting,"
Sarah said. Her voice was completely different now. Strong, confident, full of authority. "The council has taken the bait. All species voted for enslavement." The officer on the screen nodded. "Excellent work, Admiral. Protocol Omega is ready to activate." "How long until all units are in position?" Sarah asked. 18 hours? Every agent is ready? Every ship is waiting." Sarah's smile returned. This time, it was not small. "Then let us show the galaxy what humanity really is. Activate Protocol Omega in 24 hours? Not a minute sooner." "Understood, Admiral." "Should we send the warning?" "No," Sarah said firmly. "They made their choice. They voted to enslave us without mercy. Now they will learn what happens when you threaten Earth." The communication ended. Sarah leaned back in her seat and looked out at the stars. For 50 years, humanity had pretended to be weak. For 50 years, they had acted like simple, primitive people who barely understood space travel. Every human in the galaxy had played their part perfectly. But the truth was very different. Humanity had explored space for over 300 years. They had built secret colonies. They had created weapons beyond the Council's imagination. They had placed their people in every corner of the galaxy, waiting and watching. The Council thought they were enslaving a weak species. They had no idea they were waking up a sleeping giant, as Sarah's shuttle jumped to faster than light speed. Heading back toward Earth, a message went out. It traveled through secret channels to thousands of humans across the galaxy. The message was simple. Just 2 words. It's time. On distant planets, human janitors stood up from their cleaning work. In Council military bases, human technicians stopped pretending to be simple mechanics. On trading stations, human merchants revealed hidden weapons. Across the entire galaxy, thousands of humans stopped pretending. The trap was set. The Council had walked right into it, and humanity was about to spring it closed. The countdown had begun. In 24 hours, the galaxy would change forever. Every species voted to enslave Earth. Now they all plead for mercy. Part 2. The hidden truth, 30 years earlier. A secret meeting took place deep inside Earth's moon. The room was hidden beneath miles of rock. Only a few dozen people knew it existed. Around a large metal table sat the leaders of Earth's true military force. General Milkus Webb stood at the head of the table. Behind him, a massive screen showed a map of the galaxy. Red dots marked Council worlds. Blue dots showed something else. There were thousands of blue dots. The Council had no idea they existed. "We've been watching the Galactic Council for 270 years, General Webb said. We have seen them destroy 53 different species. We have watched them enslave peaceful worlds. We have documented every crime." A woman raised her hand. She was young then, just starting her career. Her name was Sarah Chen. "Why do we keep hiding, General?" "We have the power to stop them." General Webb smiled sadly. "Because we need to understand them first, Lieutenant Chen. We need to know everything about them. Their weaknesses, their fears, their military tactics. We cannot defeat them if we do not know them completely." He pressed a button. The screen changed to show the history of humanity's space exploration. 320 years ago, we invented faster-than-light travel. The Council thinks we did it 50 years ago. That lie is our greatest weapon. Another officer spoke up. "We have hidden colonies on 400 planets. We have military bases in dark space. We have agents in every major Council facility. When the time comes, we will be ready." Sarah Chen learned the truth that day. Humanity was not weak. They were patient. Every human who went into Council space was trained. Every merchant was a spy. Every janitor was an observer. Every technician knew how to sabotage alien systems. In the present day, Commander James Park sat in the captain's chair of the stealth ship Quiet Storm. The ship floated in dark space, invisible to every Council sensor. Around him, his crew worked silently at their stations. "Status report," James ordered. "All stealth systems active," the tactical officer replied. "The Council fleet is moving toward Earth. They have no idea we are here." James looked at the screen. He could see 5,000 Council warships heading toward his home. They looked powerful. Their weapons could destroy planets. But James was not worried. "How many of our ships are in position?" he asked. "All of them, sir. 2,000 stealth dreadnoughts, 5,000 attack cruisers, 10,000 support vessels. Every ship is ready." James nodded. The Council thought humanity had maybe 100 ships. They had no idea about the massive fleet hiding in dark space. Ships that were more advanced than anything the Council could imagine. "Sir, we are receiving the activation code," the communications officer announced. James sat up straight. This was it. 300 years of preparation. 300 years of hiding. It all came down to this moment. "All ships, this is Commander Park. Protocol Omega is now active. Remember your training. We disable, we do not destroy. We capture, we do not kill. Show the Council what real military precision looks like." Across the galaxy, thousands of humans received the same message. In the Veraxian military base, A human technician named David Liu walked past the security guards. They saw him every day. Just a simple maintenance worker. They did not know he was a Special Forces operative with 15 years of combat experience. David reached the main computer system. He pulled out a small device and connected it to the system. Within seconds, he had complete control. Target secured, he whispered into his communicator. All Varaxian fleet systems are compromised. Similar reports came in from everywhere. On the chittery homeworld, a human teacher named Maria Santos stood in front of her alien students. She had taught their children for 10 years. They trusted her completely. They did not know she had spent those 10 years mapping every military installation on their planet. Maria pressed a button on her watch. "Education is over," she said quietly. "Time for the real lesson?" On Council Station Alpha, the largest military headquarters in the galaxy, a human janitor pushed his cleaning cart down a hallway. His name was Robert Kim. He had cleaned these halls for 8 years. The aliens barely noticed him. They did not see the scanning device hidden in his cart. They did not know he had mapped every secure room, every computer system, every defense grid. Robert stopped at a maintenance panel. He opened it and placed a small device inside. "Package delivered," he said, into his hidden communicator. "Council Station Alpha is ready for takeover." Back on the quiet storm, James watched reports flood in. Every Council military base was compromised. Every fleet had been infiltrated. Every system had a human agent ready to act. "Sir, the Council fleet has reached Earth," the tactical officer announced. James stood up. "All ships, prepare for engagement. Remember, 0 casualties. We are not monsters like them. We are better." The Council fleet approached Earth, expecting an easy victory. They saw a few small human ships in orbit, exactly what they expected from a primitive species. What they did not see were the 2,000 invisible dreadnoughts surrounding them. What they did not know was that human agents had already taken control of their own ships. What they could not imagine was that humanity had been ready for this moment for 300 years. Admiral Sarah Chen, now back on Earth, stood in the Global Defense Command Center. She watched the Council fleet arrive. Around her, hundreds of officers worked at their stations. "All systems ready, Admiral," her second-in-command reported. Sarah took a deep breath. "Then let us introduce ourselves properly, show the Council who humanity really is." She pressed a button. Across the galaxy, every human agent acted at the same moment. The trap sprang shut. Every species voted to enslave Earth. Now they all plead for mercy. Part 3. The reckoning begins. The Vraxian war commander sat on his command throne, watching Earth grow larger on his view screen. Around him, 5,000 Council warships flew in perfect formation. It was the largest enslaving fleet ever assembled. "This will be easy," the commander said to his officers. "The humans cannot fight all of us. In 1 hour, Earth will belong to the Council." His tactical officer nodded. "Our scanners show only 72 human ships in orbit. They are small vessels, no threat to us." The commander laughed. "Prepare boarding parties. We'll take their leaders prisoner." And suddenly, every screen on his ship went black. The engines stopped. The weapons powered down. Emergency lights flickered on. The entire massive warship was dead in space. "What happened?" the commander shouted. "Get systems back online." His engineers frantically pressed buttons. Nothing worked. "Sir, every system is locked out. We have no control." Round him, the same thing happened to all 5,000 ships. One by one, they went dark and silent. 5,000 warships, all disabled in less than 10 seconds, not destroyed. No, just frozen in space. In the Council chambers, alarms began ringing. The Crithian ambassador ran to the communication center. "What is happening? Why did the fleet stop transmitting?" The technician looked up with fear in his eyes. "Sir, we lost contact with all 5,000 ships. They just disappeared from our sensors. That is impossible. Send another fleet to investigate." 3 hours later, a second fleet of 2,000 ships arrived at Earth. They found the first fleet floating in space like dead fish.
Ow.
Every ship was dark. No communication, no movement, nothing. The second fleet's commander tried to contact the disabled ships. No response. He sent boarding teams to investigate. The moment the boarding teams entered the disabled ships, their own vessels went dark too. Within minutes, all 2,000 ships of the Second Fleet were disabled. 7,000 Council warships now floated helplessly near Earth. Then every communication system in Council space activated at once. Televisions, radios, computers, even military channels. All showed the same image. Admiral Sarah Chen appeared on every screen in the galaxy, but she looked different now. She wore a black military uniform with medals and rank insignia. Her hair was pulled back. Her expression was serious and strong. "People of the Galactic Council," she began. "For 50 years you have known us as primitive humans, weak, simple, easy to control. Today you learn the truth." Behind her, images appeared. Hidden human colonies, advanced warships, secret military bases. The aliens watching could not believe what they saw. "Humanity has traveled the stars for over 300 years, Sarah continued. "We have watched you. We have studied you. We have placed our people everywhere in your society. Every merchant, every janitor, every low-level worker, all were trained observers. The council leaders watching felt their blood run cold. Your 7,000 ships near Earth are intact," Sarah said. "The crews are unharmed. But they are now our prisoners. We captured them without firing a single shot. We did this to show you something important. We could have destroyed them, chose not to." She paused, letting the message sink in. "You voted to enslave Earth. All 847 species agreed. You showed no mercy. You gave us no choice. Now you face the consequences." Sarah's expression became harder. "You have 72 hours. Surrender your military forces to us unconditionally. Agree to face justice for your crimes, or we will disable every Council warship in the galaxy." The transmission ended. The screens went back to normal. Across Council space, panic began. The Crithian ambassador immediately called an emergency session. "This is a trick. One species cannot defeat 847 civilizations. We must mobilize our full military force," their ambassadors agreed. Fear made them angry. They refused to believe humanity was superior. The Council voted again. This time they voted to send everything they had. 2 million warships. It's the entire Council military. Every species contributed their fleets. They gathered. At Terminus Gate, the strongest military fortress in the galaxy, surely 2 million ships could defeat the humans. Admiral Sarah Chen watched the Council fleet gather. She stood in Earth's command center, surrounded by her officers. "They chose war," her second-in-command said sadly. "They chose pride over wisdom," Sarah replied. "Now we teach them a lesson they will never forget." All fleets moved to Terminus Gate. It is time. Commander James Park and the Quiet Storm were among the first to arrive. 2,000 human dreadnoughts appeared around the Council fleet. They did not hide anymore. They just appeared, their stealth systems dropping away. The Council fleet panicked. Sensors suddenly showed thousands of human ships. Where did they come from? How did they get so close? The Vroxian commander, now in charge of the Council fleet, ordered the attack. "All ships, fire everything. Destroy the humans." Million ships opened fire, missiles, lasers, plasma cannons, enough firepower to destroy 100 planets. The space around Terminus Gate lit up like a star, but the human ships moved. They moved faster than anything the Council had ever seen. They dodged between the attacks with impossible precision. Not a single human ship was hit. Then humanity fired back. But they did not use weapons of destruction. They used electromagnetic pulse beams, precision targeting systems. Every shot hit exactly where it was meant to hit. Engines, weapons, power cores. Never the crew sections. Council ships went dark by the hundreds, then thousands, then tens of thousands. In 11 minutes, half the Council fleet was disabled. In 20 minutes, only a few hundred ships remained active. The Vroxian commander stared in horror at his screens. His mighty fleet was being taken apart like toys in the hands of children. "How is this possible?" he whispered. A voice came over his communication system. A human voice. "Commander, we have been maintaining your ships for 20 years. We built your weapons. We designed your systems. We know every weakness because we created them. The commander's eyes went wide. You sabotaged us? We prepared for this day, the human replied. Every council ship has hidden modifications. Every system has a back door. Now, you invited us to fix your technology. You never asked why we were so helpful. The commander tried one last desperate move. He set his ship to ram the nearest human vessel. A suicide attack. But his engines would not respond. His weapons would not fire. His ship just sat there, powerless. Your ship is ours now, Commander, the human voice said. Like all the others, the battle is over. You lost before it even began. Across Terminus Gate, 2 million council ships floated in silence. All disabled, all captured. Not a single ship destroyed. It's not a single life lost. The council's military might was gone. Every species voted to enslave Earth. Now they all plead for mercy. Part 4, Mercy's Price, 2 weeks past. Every council military base was under human control. Every warship was disabled. Millions of alien soldiers sat in their darkened ships, waiting. They had food and water. The life support systems still worked, but they could do nothing except wait. Human ships patrolled everywhere. Small teams of humans boarded each captured vessel to check on the crews. They brought medical supplies. They made sure everyone was safe and healthy. Not a single alien prisoner was harmed. This confused the council species. They expected torture. They expected execution. Instead, they received care and respect. The humans treated them better than many council species treated their own people. In the council chambers, chaos ruled. The ambassadors shouted at each other. Some blamed the Vraxians for starting the war. Others blamed the Crithians for suggesting the vote to enslave Earth. Everyone tried to escape responsibility. The Chitauri ambassador stood up. We must negotiate. The humans clearly have power we did not expect. Let us offer them trade agreements, resources, anything they want. The Crithian ambassador shook his head. They do not respond to our messages. We have sent 1,000 requests for talks. The humans ignore all of them. Then what do they want? Someone shouted. Nobody had an answer. For 3 days, humanity said nothing. The silence was more terrifying than any threat. The council's species did not know what to expect. They could only wait and worry. On the 4th day, a message finally came. Admiral Sarah Chen's face appeared on every screen again. 3 days ago, we gave you silence, she said. We wanted you to think, to understand your situation, to realize what you have done. The council members listened carefully. Sarah's voice was calm, but firm. Some of you are trying to negotiate. Some are trying to shift blame to other species. Some are planning resistance. All of these actions are pointless. We do not want your resources. We do not want your territory. We do not want revenge. Hope appeared on some alien faces. Maybe the humans would let them go? What we want is justice, Sarah continued. Her expression became hard. For 300 years, we have watched you. We have documented everything. Every crime. Every species you enslaved. Every civilization you destroyed. Behind her, images appeared. Records of council crimes. 53 species wiped out. Hundreds of planets stripped of resources. Countless acts of cruelty and oppression. The evidence was overwhelming. The council has committed terrible crimes, Sarah said. You have acted without mercy. You have destroyed lives across the galaxy. And when you voted to enslave Earth, you showed us that you learned nothing from your past. She paused, letting the weight of her words sink in. Our demands are simple. First, the Galactic Council must dissolve immediately. Your system of government has failed. It created only suffering and injustice. The council members gasped. Dissolve? That was their entire civilization? Second, every enslaved species must be freed. All of them. Immediately. You will return everything you stole from them. You will help them rebuild their worlds. More gasps. Some species had built their entire economy on slave labor. This would destroy them financially. Third, you will face justice. Not human justice. We will not be your judges. Instead, We will create a tribunal. Every species in the galaxy will have a voice. Every victim will be heard. You will be judged by the very people you hurt. Sarah's expression softened slightly. We know some of you are better than others. Some species voted for enslavement because they feared going against the majority. Some committed worse crimes than others. The tribunal will consider everything. There will be fairness. But there will also be accountability. Transmission showed evidence files. Millions of documents, video recordings, witness statements, 300 years of collected proof of council crimes. We have documented everything, Sarah said. Every vote, every order, every action. There is nowhere to hide. No way to deny what you have done. The evidence is absolute. The Delphian ambassador stood up in his chamber. His species was known for their pride and honor. He had always believed the Delphians were noble, but now he saw the truth. His people had participated in terrible things. He made a decision. He activated his communication system and broadcast to the entire galaxy. I am Ambassador Kelvin of the Delphian Empire, he said. His voice shook with emotion. On behalf of my people, I apologize to Earth. I apologize to every species we have wronged. We accept humanity's judgment. We surrender unconditionally. We beg for mercy. His broadcast shocked everyone. The Delphians never apologized. They never admitted weakness. Yet their ambassador just humbled himself before the galaxy. Within an hour, other species followed. The Minarans surrendered. Then the Crystalline Collective. Then dozens more. Each species broadcast apologies. Each one begged Earth for mercy. The council was fracturing. Species tried to save themselves by surrendering first. They hoped humanity would treat them better if they cooperated, but some species refused. The Varaxians stayed silent. Their pride would not allow surrender. The Chitauri tried to organize resistance. They sent secret messages to other species trying to form an alliance. Human intelligence intercepted every message. Commander James Park contacted the Chitauri leaders directly. We know what you are planning, he told them. We have agents in your government. We have control of your military systems. Your resistance will fail before it begins. Surrender now, or face the tribunal with evidence of continued aggression. The Chitauri leaders realized they had no choice. They too surrendered, one by one. All 847 species bent their knee to Earth, not because humans demanded it, but because they understood the alternative. Humanity had shown incredible power. They had defeated the entire council without killing anyone. They could have destroyed every council world. Instead, they chose justice. That choice was more terrifying than any weapon. It showed the council species something they never expected. Humanity was not cruel. They were not interested in domination. They were interested in building something better, and that meant that council's old ways were truly over. Admiral Sarah Chen watched the surrenders come in. Her officers celebrated around her, but she did not smile. This is not a victory, she told them. This is just the beginning. Now comes the hard part. We must help rebuild an entire galaxy. We must create a system of justice that actually works. We must prove that we meant what we said. Her second-in-command nodded. It will take years. Maybe decades, and we will take years, Sarah replied. We waited 300 years for this moment. We can be patient a little longer. Every species voted to enslave Earth. Now they all plead for mercy. Part 5. A new galaxy. 2 years later, the galaxy looked completely different. The old council chambers were torn down. In their place stood the assembly hall. It was designed with equal seating for every species. No one sat higher than anyone else. No one had special privileges. Inside the assembly hall, the tribunals were ending. For 2 years, every council crime was examined. Evidence was presented. Victims testified. The accused defended themselves. Some species faced harsh punishment. The Varaxian Empire lost half its territory. They had to pay reparations to dozens of species they had hurt. Their military was restricted to defensive forces only. Many Varaxian leaders went to prison. But the Varaxian war commander was not one of them. He had done something unexpected. During his trial, he admitted everything. He spoke about his species' culture of violence. He explained how they were taught that strength meant conquest. "I am guilty," he told the tribunal. "I hurt people because I was taught it was right. But humanity showed me something different. They had the power to destroy us. Instead, they showed mercy. That took more strength than any battle." His honesty impressed many people. The tribunal gave him a lighter sentence. He spent 1 year in prison, then was released to help reform Varaxian culture. He became a teacher, traveling to Varaxian schools to talk about the mistakes his generation made. The Cheatery faced similar consequences. They lost their slave colonies and paid heavy reparations. But they too were given a chance to change. Human advisors helped them restructure their economy without slave labor. It was difficult, but possible. Not all species were punished harshly. Those who surrendered quickly and cooperated fully received lighter sentences. The Delphian Empire, because of Ambassador Kelvin's quick apology, only had to pay modest reparations. They kept their territory and independence. The freed and enslaved species struggled at first. Many did not know how to govern themselves. They had been slaves for generations. Some had no memory of freedom. Humanity helped them. Human teachers went to their worlds. Human engineers helped rebuild their cities. Human diplomats taught them about self-government. But humans never tried to control them. "You are free," Sarah Chen told a gathering of freed peoples on the planet Zarkon. "That means you make your own choices. We will help you learn. We will support you. But we will not rule you. Your future is yours to decide." The Zarkonians were former slaves of the Chitauri. Their leader, an elderly woman named Thera, wept when Sarah spoke. "For 300 years, we were property. We forgot what freedom felt like. You gave it back to us." Sarah knelt down beside Thera. "You must build your own future now. Be brave. Be wise. Be free." Across the galaxy, similar scenes played out. Freed peoples rediscovered their cultures. They rebuilt their worlds. Some struggled. Some thrived. But all were given the chance to try. The new Galactic Assembly formed officially 1 year after the surrenders. Every species sent representatives. Even the Varaxians and Chitauri were given seats. Everyone had an equal vote. Humanity took 1 seat. Just 1, like everyone else. This surprised many species. They expected humans to demand special treatment, to claim leadership, to use their power for advantage. Instead, humans insisted on equality. "We are not special," the human representative said at the first assembly meeting. "We simply prepared better. We thought longer. We waited more patiently. Any species could do what we did." The assembly's first vote was about trade regulations. It was a small matter, but symbolic. Every species participated. The vote was fair and peaceful. It was something the old council never achieved. Years continued to pass. The galaxy slowly healed. Trade between species increased. Scientific cooperation flourished. Human technology, hidden for so long, was shared freely with everyone. The hidden human colonies revealed themselves, advanced. Worlds that no one knew existed appeared on galactic maps. They offered their knowledge and resources to help rebuild the galaxy. Former council species learned to work together in new ways. The Varaxians, once feared warriors, became known for their engineering skills. They helped build space stations and planetary defenses. The Chitauri, former slavers, discovered talent in medicine and healing. They opened hospitals across the galaxy. The Delphians, proud as ever, found new pride in being teachers. They shared their long history and ancient wisdom with younger species. Ambassador Kelvin became a respected elder statesman in the assembly. Commander James Park retired from military service, became a professor at Earth's War College, teaching new generations about strategy and patience. His lessons always emphasized the same point: the greatest victory is the one that does not require battle. 10 years after the council's fall, Admiral Sarah Chen prepared to retire. She was older now, her hair gray. but her eyes still held strength and wisdom. The assembly held a special ceremony for her. Representatives from all 847 former council species attended. So did representatives from the freed peoples. The assembly hall was completely full. The Delphian ambassador, Kelvin, spoke first. Admiral Chen, on behalf of my people and this assembly, we thank you. You could have destroyed us. Instead, you saved us from ourselves. A Chitauri representative spoke next. We were blind to our own cruelty. You opened our eyes. We will never forget the mercy you showed. Even the Varaxian representative stood. My people respect strength. We thought strength meant the power to destroy. You taught us that true strength is the choice not to destroy when you can. This lesson will guide our people forever. One by one, representatives from every species thanked Sarah and humanity. Many wept, many bowed. All showed genuine gratitude. Finally, a small child approached Sarah. She was from Zarkon, one of the freed slave worlds. She could not have been more than 6 years old. Ambassador Chen, the child said in simple words, my grandmother told me stories. She said humans came from the sky and freed us. She said you could have been our masters, but chose to be our friends instead. Why? The entire assembly hall fell silent. Everyone wanted to hear Sarah's answer. Sarah knelt down to the child's level. She smiled warmly. Because we learned something important from our own history. Long ago, humans hurt each other. We fought wars, enslaved our own people. We did terrible things. The child listened carefully, but we learned from our mistakes, Sarah continued. We learned that the strongest thing you can do is not to conquer others. It is to help them. True power is not the ability to destroy. It is the choice to build and protect and lift others up. Sarah stood and looked around the assembly hall. She spoke to everyone present. The old council fell because it confused power with strength. Having weapons does not make you strong. Having slaves does not make you successful. True strength comes from here. She placed her hand over her heart. It comes from choosing what is right even when it is difficult. She turned back to the child. We helped free your people because it was the right thing to do, not because we wanted something in return. Not because we had to, but because when you have power, you have a responsibility to use it well. The child smiled. When I grow up, I want to be like you. Sarah laughed gently. Then be brave, be kind, be wise. And always remember that the greatest victory is not defeating your enemies. It is turning them into friends. The assembly hall erupted in applause. It lasted for minutes. Species that once hated each other stood and clapped together. Former enemies now stood as allies. Sarah Chen retired that day. She returned to Earth, to a small house by the ocean. She spent her remaining years writing and teaching. Students from every species came to learn from her. The galaxy continued to change. More freed worlds joined the assembly. New species were discovered and welcomed as equals. Trade flourished. Science advanced. Art and culture were shared. 20 years after the Council's fall, monuments were built across the galaxy. They honored the moment when humanity revealed itself. But the inscriptions did not celebrate military victory. Instead, they carried a simple message. Here stands a reminder. Power without wisdom leads to tyranny. Strength without mercy leads to cruelty. On this day, humanity taught us that the mightiest choice is not to destroy when you can, but to forgive. This lesson guides our future. And in Earth's archives, the original message that started it all was preserved. The unanimous vote to enslave humanity. It was kept not as a grudge, but as a reminder. A reminder of how far the galaxy had come. A reminder of what happens when species choose mercy over revenge. The galaxy that once voted to enslave Earth now built its future on the principles humanity taught them. Not through force, not through demands, but through example, and that example would guide them for generations to come.